What's happening, everybody? 3:45 a.m. I'm recording a video. I'm recording this video because I'm not going to be able to sleep if I don't. If I'm going to lay down there, attempt to sleep. I should be sleeping now, and this has kind of been rattling in my brain for a few hours because I've turned on TV and I've been seeing different clips. I've seen Olbermann talk about this, and I watched a video by Coctopus a little bit ago. I've seen a couple videos mention this on YouTube thus far. And I'm referring to Pat Robertson and his Haiti comments of that it was the deal that they made with the devil, and it was essentially their fault that this happened. Well, not really, but I'll get into that in a moment. And I'm noticing, Olbermann was pissed, Coctopus was pissed, and I know there's a lot of people that are upset with this comment, and rightfully so. I can completely understand how a human being would upset you when they have such little human empathy that they need to exploit a tragedy to fucking get fear mongering going for their religion. I understand that. But one other thing that I think about when I hear this, and I know who it's coming from, is that I've seen Pat Robertson on television my entire life. I remember being a child wanting to watch like either Saturday or Sunday morning cartoons or something on television, and then boom, there's Pat Robertson. And every now and again, Pat Robertson would be on television, and he would say something stupid that would make news. Or I would watch the 700 Club on occasion when my friends would talk about God, and I'd like to learn. And even then, I think he was the early seeds of atheism that was planted in my head, because I remember watching those shows sometimes and thinking, wow, God's a dick, he's kind of evil, and wondering about that even as a youth, but still kind of having that little half-hearted belief, but knowing that what this God was doing even as a child was something that was just so fucking evil that it just didn't make any sense, but I had justified it then. As I get older, I kind of lose more and more reason to justify heinous actions. So that's kind of where my anger towards Pat Robertson is, because he's still doing what he's always doing. But again, I'm not really that angry at him at this point, because that's what I expect from him. This is what he does. He will milk anytime any tragedy happens on Earth, anything, it's our fault. 9/11, I mean, with any of these people, Falwell was the same way. Falwell was a fucking evil prick, and he died one. One of the best quotes I've ever heard on TV was Christopher Hitchens when he happened to say that they gave Falwell an enema after he died, and then they were able to bury him in a matchbox. Because that's the kind of person Falwell was, and that's the kind of person that Pat Robertson is. It happens to be that he's one of these people clinging on to the whole biblical idea, and that he's like the battered wife of God. He will defend God's every evil action and sit around and use that as an excuse why bad things happen to people. But instead of thinking, you know what, if God's responsible for this happening for us, what does that say about God? What does that say about your God? That's been a problem that I have, not just with him, but when I think about him and know that he's been on TV this long, that means that the channels still get enough ratings to keep him on, that he still gets enough donations, enough money is thrown his way to keep him talking. And I'm fucking sorry, but the people that are worse than Pat Robertson are the people that continue to perpetuate that kind of hate. And this isn't even so much about a religious issue to me. I don't give a fuck if they want to believe in God or Jesus or a fucking talking rock. Believe whatever the hell you want. I'm kind of an open-minded guy, but as long as your belief consists of something along the lines of, well, we're not all evil, you need to feel guilty about something your ancestors did. That even if this happened, which it didn't, even if they did make a deal with the devil, is anyone in Haiti responsible for that at this time, thousands of years later? This God is going to hold a fucking grudge that long against the next of kins for all of time, and he's just going to destroy this land and anyone who happens to be on it? What does that say about your God? And yet these people never think about this, and there's going to be people that are going to defend Pat Robertson. They're going to be all on his fucking ass, and oh, well, he didn't mean it like this, or they'll try to defend their God too, just like the fucking battered wife syndrome, I'm going to call this, because he's kind of like the battered believer. That's an even better one. And because he will defend this God against even heinous action. So, I mean, just for this video, let's just assume that this God of his exists. What does that say about them? And what does that say for you for kissing his ass and allowing that kind of evil? I'm sorry. I fucking have a better morality system than your God. And if you're someone who supports that for Pat Robertson, and the people that support Pat Robertson, you really need to look in the fucking mirror for 1 second. This isn't so much about your beliefs. You were fucking keeping in mind a fucking scummy person. You were keeping his livelihood with every dollar that motherfucker has gotten. And he continues to get them because he's still on fucking television now, and it's probably given fucking 20 years that I remember him on TV, and I'm fucking in my mid-20s. And that's fucking sad to me. That's the saddest whole part of this thing, of all of this. You know, I expect these hate mongers to continue to say their bullshit, but it just fucking sickens me that there are going to be people out there that are going to defend it. And this being YouTube, like the Falwells and the Pat Robertsons, they're just the top of the tier, the most successful fucking bullshit, death, human hate peddlers that there are. We've seen some on YouTube. I won't name any names in this video tonight, but I'm sure anyone out there watching can think back a little bit, and you'll notice that there was someone on here who you knew was just peddling fucking hate in the defense of a god, or peddling bullshit for their own self-serving cause. And I'm not really sure which category that Pat Robertson himself falls into, but it's definitely one of those two. He's either so stupid that he is going to blindly, fearfully follow this god and justify his immoral actions, or he's going to use it to peddle fear to get people to go with it. And these people that follow Pat, you're sheep. And that's what gets me the most. I don't really have that much hope for you. I guess I'm too much of a cynic when it comes to this, because that's why I don't get mad at Pat Robertson anymore. I would be shocked and happy if I saw that Pat Robertson actually said something decent, but I don't see that happening. So whenever I've just lost immunity to being shocked at any horrible thing Pat Robertson could say, because that's what I expect, because I think he's a horrible human being. He's fucking worthless, and fucking eventually he's old enough now, I would think, that his clock's got to be ticking so he can go meet his maker and he can stop making this world that we're at a fucking worse place because of his existence. But as soon as he goes, there'll probably be some other bullshit peddler around, and the people that'll follow him will go and follow that one. I'm just hoping that the next bullshit peddler has enough decency not to exploit and milk every single tragedy that happens, and it has enough human compassion and empathy to maybe rally people around to support it, rather than sit around and justify God for doing it.
Christianity's all around. Shots they are bound. I wanna blow them to pieces.